If you're a veteran, we have great news for you. If you're ready to purchase a home, we're going to go over the basics of a VA loan. We'll talk about the differences between a VA loan and the Texas Veteran Land Board. My name is Gabi Vitue, realtor with eXp Realty, serving Austin and the surrounding areas. And as always, I have my best lender here.
Hi, how are you? I'm Michelle Wilkins. I'm with Guaranteed Rate.
I love veterans, and I'm not born and raised here, but I love veterans. I admire them. Not many know about their options. What does it mean, and what are the benefits?
A lot of the benefits are that you are able to do 100% financing on the loan. So if you're honorably discharged and you have a certificate of eligibility, which we can pull for you if you need it, you are able to do 100% financing, and you have a lot of options out there.
That is the biggest thing, because a lot of people think they need to put 10% down, 5% down, or 20% down. And if you're a VA, you put literally 0% down. So you don't have to have that money. You do have to have closing costs,
Right.
Or the fees associated with that.
Or you can have the seller pay the closing costs. I think one of the benefits of doing a VA loan is you could get in for as little as your earnest money. And then you could even have the earnest money refunded to you back at closing. So the largest amount of credit you can get back at closing is the amount of your earnest money. There's really no limit on the seller paid closing costs when it comes to a VA loan. So I think it's just knowing what your total closing costs are to be able to ask that seller to be able to pay that on your behalf. There's a funding fee on a VA loan, but if you're 10% or more disabled, then you don't pay that funding fee. If it's your first VA transaction, the funding fee changes versus subsequent purchase loans.
What are the rates now for a VA loan? Is it different than a typical conventional loan?
The VA rates will run around the same as conventional right now. We're seeing, maybe a slight difference. Always rates are going to be based on about 10 different factors. It's going to be your purchase price, your FICO score, debt to income ratio. So there's several different factors that go into quoting anybody's rate.
Great information. You mentioned also the Texas Veteran Land Board.
Right.
What are the differences and what are the benefits?
So I think the biggest benefit on the Texas Veteran Land Board is going to be comparing a VA rate versus the Texas Veteran Land Board rate. If you are 30% or more disabled, you're able to take 0.5% off the published weekly rate that the Texas Veteran Land Board publishes. So it's not necessarily just a VA loan, though, which is great news. You could do a conventional loan, an FHA loan, and of course a VA loan. So it's really a great program. And what's really great about it is if you compare like today's VA rate versus the Texas Veteran Land Board rate, it's a much better rate today.
In order to have the Texas Veteran Land Board, you have to be 30% or more disabled? Or
you can get their starting rate, but to get the 0.5% off their rate, you have to be 30% or more disabled.
And can you use your VA eligibility more than once?
Yes. I think a lot of times veterans don't realize that once they buy a home using their VA entitlement, that they can't use it again. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. You can use your VA benefits over and over again. You can buy every single home that you buy with your VA benefit.
Can you have several VA loans? What if you already have a house? Maybe you want to sell it. Do you have to sell it first?
No.
Qualify? Or
No, there's a calculator we use, and we figure out, based on the current entitlement on your current home, if you have to put a down payment on your next purchase. So you could buy your next home, because a lot of times veterans will get stationed, like they'll be stationed in one place for 3 years, and then they have to move, and they want to keep that home where they were living because they know veterans are going to be living in that area, maybe near a base, or not, just in the general area. But what we do is we just figure out how much you used on your current entitlement. We plug it into a calculator that we have to determine if you need to put a down payment is really the bigger question.
That would be like the main difference of down payment or no down payment.
Right. Carrying 2 VA loans. Yeah.
Is there anything that I forgot to ask?
I think the most important thing is just making an application, talking with a realtor such as yourself, and getting more information. I think information is empowering, and it makes the buying and selling process so much smoother.
Whether you want to buy or sell real estate right now, you might want to purchase a home, and it could be the great opportunity that you've been waiting for, even though interest rates are a little bit higher, but you're not competing so much with so many buyers like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago during COVID. It's been crazy. And that's when a lot of people couldn't buy because they didn't have the cash to come above asking price. Now you have the opportunity to even maybe negotiate. And if you're a veteran, you have the possibility of buying a home without putting any money down. And we might be able to negotiate even the closing costs for the sellers to cover that entirely or partially. So reach out to Michelle or I, and we're happy to take this conversation more in private and more in detail with you.